All right, guys, how are ya? Kate Dixon here. So pumped about the Zoom tonight. No fluff. We're just going to get into business. We're talking Instagram, Facebook, and we're going to talk about building. We're going to talk about branding. We're going to talk about messaging, as you all asked. We're going to talk about all the things. But this is a Top Leader Zoom, and we're here to have a chat. We're here to kind of have like a round table. This isn't anything fluffy, like I said. This is just like a real raw, awesome conversation that we're going to be able to share with our teams with some really great information just about building here on these two platforms. They are very different platforms, and there's so much we can all learn and take away. So I'd say we start with Facebook. Let's start with Facebook tonight, and let's kind of dive right in, and let's talk about just all the things that are necessary. And I want you guys to utilize the chat. If you have a specific question, ask it there. If something comes up, we're going to be monitoring that so that you guys can ask questions on there. So Rachel, I'm going to start with you and just pull you on because we were chatting earlier anyway, and I feel like this will just be a good starting point. I love what you shared on Lifers, and I have this set up so you can unmute yourself. But let's just kind of talk about, I think the biggest thing on Facebook that I see, and I don't know if Clara Flores, you're on too, if you could comment and let me know if you're on. I think the biggest thing that I see, okay, good. The biggest thing that I see on Facebook is it's all about your influence. And I feel like at this point in the world of the algorithms and whatnot that we have to expand that. And we're going to talk about that tonight too. So Rachel, you shared something awesome that you started doing last winter to boost your income. Can you just kind of expand a little bit on what you did and how you taught your team and all of us essentially?
Yeah, so I feel like I don't know. It ended up being last winter too. We were trying to think like of clever ways to not let our checks go down. So I was like, we really got to tap in. Like I love Facebook and I've been using Facebook from the beginning. But there comes a point where it feels like you've maxed out. And so I was like, we really got to figure it out. So what we did is we printed off our friends list. And this is something I put off for literally like 3 years because I'm like, that just seems, I don't know how to do it. It seems hard. It seems extra. I'm not trying to have like 600 pages of my Facebook friends. But finally getting over that, like, that refusal of doing it and doing it changed everything for not only me but my team. And it was the first time ever that I was not only mass enrolling, but like 15 to 20 of my girls, the girls that actually listened to me, were all signing 30 plus customers as well. So I know it really worked. But what we did is we just printed off our friends list, and I cannot tell you how to do that because it's still over my head. I don't know how I figured it out one time, but I can't figure it out again. So you have to print off your friends list. And I just made a lot of different columns to fit obviously as many names on a piece of paper because you're going to have a lot. And then what I did with my team is I said, I have a special Zoom for you guys. I'm going to teach you something that I've never done before, but in order to get on this Zoom, you have to have proof that your friends list is printed off, because otherwise it's kind of just hard to explain a lot of stuff when they don't have it printed off. But for you guys, what we did is we went through every single person. And so if it was It Works distributors, I came across a lot of It Works distributors that were no longer distributors. I mean, I'm at my 5,000 friend mark. So I started unfriending people. And then I started coming across people that, you just don't want to see their stuff for whatever reason. And I started unfollowing them. And as I'm doing that in masses with my my papers are front to back and like going through 2 to 4 pages a day of highlighting, you realize you want to unfollow a lot of people because you just realize that there's a lot of different kind of people out there on your Facebook friends list. And so every single day I did this took me like 5 months. And it got us through that slow season. And every single time we did this, every single day, the next day I woke up to a brand new Facebook. My algorithm was great. Everything was great because it really is true. I don't know. I guess I just didn't really pay attention to it that much until I actually started unfollowing people, and they really do clear them out and bring in new people. So that was awesome for Facebook. And then just messaging almost every single person. I even started messaging those old distributors that I knew were old from like 5 years ago that I have been gone for a long time, and having them post a post. And that's what I started doing is I just messaged them, hey girl, question. hey girl, question. And it was just so simple and fast that it went really fast. And it was such a simple thing to duplicate with my team. And it gave us all something to do as like a checklist, because if you have 50 friends, 50 pages of friends, it takes you a long time to go through that. And it was fun. And so we would get up and do those 2-hour power hours early in the morning together. And it's like, I felt like I didn't have to teach them anything because we were all doing it. And we had so many host to post flowing in and so many distributors flowing in because we were just stumbling across these people. And then I would stumble across people that I'm like, I've never seen this person in my life, but we're friends and I want them on my team. And I would just cold message them. But 75% of the messages were just for host to post. And tackling that, like I said, we signed over 30 customers. A lot of us signed over 30 customers, and it was easy and it was fun. And the biggest thing, not only just bringing in the customers and utilizing Facebook that way, but the algorithm thing and clearing them out. I wish I would have done it so much sooner, because I just didn't realize how many people I was missing out on. And that really is so accurate. When you unfollow more and more and more and more and more people, it brings new people in. So that was basically it. It was really that simple, but it's just a matter of getting your friends list actually printed off and getting your team to take you seriously so that they do it. It'll change the game. I swear. I just want to do it again.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, as far as today, or what are you doing differently? Are you doing anything, are you doing exactly the same thing? Kind of what, because I know that was a year ago. So
today, I feel like it's a little harder because I remember I finished my friends list like at the end of May, and I did feel really lost after that, because I got in the swing of things of having just to go through my friends list every single day. So I do think I need to do it again now that it's almost been a year since I printed that off, because obviously I have a lot of new people. But now what I do is I use my Messenger as my like follow-ups, and I just scroll until like September 1st or whenever I want. And then I just start messaging everybody that never signed up, and I just get them to host a post or something along those lines. But I'm just really trying to just pay attention to what we get in the habit of is like when I'm just bored on Facebook and you're just like, in the car or whatever, and you see those people on your Facebook, that's like, I don't know, like, I know I'll just get so lazy and I'm scrolling and I'm like, oh, like it's something I don't even want to see, but I don't just unfollow them in the moment. And so that's something I'm trying to be better at, is just paying attention to who I really have on my newsfeed, because those people are there for a reason, I don't know, and unfollowing them and unfriending them, and just really going back to what I used to do in the beginning. And I don't know, just, it's been 4 years and I feel like we stopped doing things that worked, but for so long I stopped messaging all the people that would like a picture. Like, let's say I just had a photo shoot last month, and I would get like 300 likes on a picture, but it had nothing to do with It Works. And I stopped messaging those people, but I used to always message all of my likes on every single post. So I did start doing that again, and that's been helping too. Like, they just liked my picture about my family, but it had nothing to do with It Works, but I'm still messaging them because it's showing that they're looking at my stuff. But that's really it. Those two things, just always getting those host to post up. But if you feel stumped and you feel like host to post isn't working and you haven't print off your friends list, I think that is like crucial right now.
Let's pay attention to these questions that are coming in real quick. So are you mostly unfollowing versus unfriending is one question that came in.
Yeah, I was unfollowing for so long, and now I'm like at 5,000, and I'm like, I wish I would have unfriended all of those people that I unfollowed. But my thing is like, and maybe someone can help me with this. I'm like stumped on the sense of, when do I unfollow and when do I unfriend? I mean, I would like unfriend if someone burned me or something, but the thing with unfollowing is I've had so many people quit and then sign up as a customer under me, or I don't know, you just never know when people are going to come. And so my mindset was like, they might be a little bit trashy, or someone that I would not be friends with, or someone that I don't really like approve of in my friends group, or whatever. We all have those type of people. So, I mean, I would just automatically, you would think that you would just unfriend them, but sometimes those people are the best customers. You just never know. So that's my thing, is like, I don't know if you should unfriend them or unfollow them. Right now, I'm only really unfriending It Works people not in my downline, because that's the only like fluff I can figure out how to get rid of. So I don't know if someone else has a better answer for that, but I don't know what to do for that one.
We can probably get to that, because I know we've got people here too. So what, Sarah Cruz, what about when you're adding new friends daily? What about that? What was that question about?
Yeah, that question's. That's why it's good to print. Like, that's why I'm sure it's good if I print off my friends list now, because I am adding new people daily.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want me to elaborate on what I meant?
Let's do it.
Okay, I just meant like as you're adding them daily, they're obviously not on the list that you printed. So when you add them, are you keeping track of them somewhere else?
I'm not, but I'm also very unorganized. So this might be where like Claire steps in.
I am. I'll say that I am. I have a note on my phone for all the people that I'm like hot after on Instagram, and I have one on my phone that all those that I'm hot after on Facebook. And every time I have a new person, because I found that I was so unorganized in the past, I add them to my note. And so I have Facebook engagement and I have Instagram engagement, and literally like the list just gets longer and longer, but it's so much fun. So when then I have the time and I sit there and I do my engagement that doesn't take long at all, I can go through and literally it's the link to their profile. So the link, we could click the, I do have an assistant, so you guys, this does help, but clicking the link and then going in and doing the engagement is like so fast, but it takes 30 minutes to sometimes an hour out of the entire day if you do that to go through every single person, because we don't have to do it every single day because it's just some of it's just repeat, but it really, really, really helps. And okay, so let's go through. I know. Oh my God, an assistant would save my life. Okay. So we'll keep going and we'll talk. Claire, let's bring you on. Are you there, Claire? Yay, hi, Claire.
Hi.
Claire's killing it on Facebook. Hey, girl.
I didn't know I was going to be talking. I'm on here with like my nasty face and hair, but hey.
I have conditioner in my hair from 9 o'clock this morning. So let's not even talk about it. It's dry now. Like I'm screwed. I got to start over. So excited to have you on. So let's talk like you have just had a tremendous year as far as your growth. I mean, I don't know full detail, but I literally see you all over my Facebook now. You have just like blown up on there, and we have to know what you're doing. What can you share? How can you add value here that we can all really learn about engagement, building your influence, expanding your audience, and really attracting our dream client? That's what this is all about.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. That's really nice. Thank you. I have honestly, like, Facebook has always been my primary method of building my business. From day one, I've always mainly used it. I use Instagram a little bit, but Facebook's just always been where it's at for me. And I think that has to do with the fact that I'm big on content. I'm big on like the content of your posts, and Facebook is just great for that. And so I think that's one thing you have to remember when you're putting yourself out there on Facebook is, you know, on Instagram, it's more about the images you're putting out there. And on Facebook, it's more about the words you're putting out there, and how you're connecting with people emotionally with the content that you're putting out there. And I think on Facebook too, something that's really important is to read your audience. Like, are they appreciating what you're putting out there? And are they, like, you can tell by how much it's being interacted with, how much people are appreciating what you're putting out there. And so if I've been posting maybe a lot about products because I'm really pushing for volume and I'm noticing my interaction going down, I know that I've got to kind of prime the pump for a couple of days, and I've got to put like just some pictures of my family, and I've got to like maybe just focus on a different way. Maybe I'm going to pull back and go behind the scenes and like do more messaging, do more host to post, do more stories. And my actual Facebook is going to be more things that are going to pull up my interaction. And then once you have that interaction up there, which live videos are great for this, like especially if there's really solid content with your live videos, and then some family pictures and maybe like an interactive post, not a spammy interactive post, not like what's hot on Netflix right now, like something that's actually genuine, that you genuinely have a question about, that you want to get interaction on. And then once you notice that, boom, your interaction is rising, that's when you come out with a business post or a product post, and boom, it's going to blow up like at an unexpected degree, because you've like primed them for it. And I like that about Facebook because I feel like it's easy to read your audience. It's easy to read what they want. And then also how you're adding to your network is going to determine that too. Like if you add from your network and it's all like young families, then family posts are going to be what's interesting to them. But if you're adding to your network and it's all makeup artists, for example, for a long time I was in a makeup group, and So tons of my network became makeup artists. Like I was realizing they weren't as interested in my more like spiritual, inspirational posts because that wasn't the market that I was adding from. So you have to really pay attention to the markets that you're adding from and then go from there with the content that you're putting out there, if that makes sense. And then our team, like what's blown up our team right now, like our volume has literally doubled just from the beginning of like the summer, and it's host to post, like 100% it's host to post. We are just like rocking and rolling with the host to post. And I've heard people say, and like I've seen people put it in lifers, like, oh, they're just like not really, host posts aren't really working anymore. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know, like maybe you just have to switch something up with how you're doing it because, and I'm saying that in like a really humble way. I'm not saying that in like, what are you doing? Host to posts are like just making things happen for my team right now. Kay, I lost you. I don't know if you're still on here, but your little face went away.
I'm here.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know, went to the next screen or something. But anyway, yeah, host to posts are like really big for us right now. And we've been rock and roll. Like all my team does like different products, but then we've all been blowing up business host to post lately too. And so don't underestimate that. And again, it is so important who you're adding to your network, because if your host to posts aren't doing well, business or product, chances are it's just because you didn't add properly to your network. Mm-hmm. You have to add good, solid people to your network. If you're just adding anybody and you're not paying attention to who you're adding, then maybe you're going to get into like, I'm sorry, we're all top leaders on here so I can say it. Maybe you cut into a network that's like broke. They're all broke and none of them are going to be able to order from you. And it's going to take them months upon months to get the 99 to start the business with you. So you have to really make sure that your network is solid. And that has so much to do with whether or not you're successful. You can have 5,000 friends that are the wrong type of people. And you won't see success with your posting. But if you have 5,000 friends that are, or even 2,000 friends that are good, solid network, solid people, then your host to posts are going to blow up. You're going to get really good, solid distributors. Like right now I'm doing a business host to post and I've gotten into like a really good network. And my girls are like, so I had just signed 2 girls today that each did their first post and they're each like blowing up. Like my phone's blowing up with them. All their network is interested because they came from a really good network. Whereas like a year ago, I was in a bad, like, nest of bad people, and everybody I was signing, they didn't want to work, their friends were all broke, they weren't selling anything. And I realized it was because I had joined this one group and I was adding everybody from this one group that was like it was just a bad demographic for it.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit. Some of the questions are coming in. How do you find the right people? How do you find that solid group? And you're giving insight into that. It's who you're interacting with, who you're engaging with, what groups you're a part of. So any quick tips on just how to find that network? Because we all have a different dream client. I can't say everyone listening here is like, oh, my dream client fits this mold. It doesn't all work like that. We don't all have the same interests. We're not all, doing the same things. We're not all the same age. There's so many different things going on here that would, encourage us to be engaging with a certain type of audience. So any tips, just like how you even coach your team on finding that audience for themselves?
Well, I think something that's really important is we avoid suggested friends. We're not just like going to suggested friends. Like one thing is I get in groups of people that are similar to me. Like, for example, if you don't wear makeup, don't join makeup groups. Like they're going to clock you really fast. Like join a group that's somebody that is similar, of people that are similar to you. So I have like bloggers that I really look up to and that I love their content. I will go to their public Facebook like business pages and I will add from their friends. You're going to have to add more slowly. It's just the way that Facebook treats you. You're going to have to add more slowly. You're going to have to add a couple people multiple times a day instead of sitting and getting to add your 50 people at one time. But it's worth it because you're going to get really good, solid people. And I take the time. I'm not massive adding like quickly. I'm taking time when I add somebody on Facebook, I look at their profile first. It's going to take you longer, but you're going to be thankful for it in the long run because they're going to be good, solid people. So I literally have like 2 really good bloggers. I'm not going to tell you their names because you'll stumble into my entire network, but these 2 like really good Christian mom bloggers, they're a lot like me. Their content is a lot like mine. And so I know that their followers are probably going to be a lot like me, and that's where I add. I usually add until I get warned. Sorry, I didn't even read that. And what's a good hourly limit now for adding people on Facebook? I add a couple and then you get the little warning and then I stop.
So you're
Sorry,
adding,
did I answer your question?
you're adding till you get maxed out, basically, until you get your warning.
But it's not very many. Like I get the warning after like just a few, and then I just wait and I don't do it again until later.
Yeah, wait a couple hours in between.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure how to go about adding on Facebook as well. Adding from other shopping groups, boutiques, or live since you are most likely to add. Yeah, okay. Example business host to post. Yeah, you mentioned you were having success with host to post. So let's talk about that for just a quick second. As far as host to post goes, which products have you guys found that are working the best for you? And then business wise, just kind of, do you mind sharing just what you feel like is working best for you, or however you want to go about that?
Yeah. For products, I do the cleanse. Like I just have it down to a science. And so I just do the cleanse. And the cleanse for me, I feel like is simple for me to upsell because we end up talking about their goals, like their health goals. And so it's easy for me to push it over to another product. But I start out with the cleanse because I feel like it's, you know, it's got those great before and afters that you can send to them and things like that. So I start out with the cleanse for product. For business, keep it super simple. Mine is literally just my friend Claire is looking for a few people that want to make a part-time or full-time income from their smartphone. Comment if you're interested and she'll contact you. So simple. It's like a couple of sentences. I think the shorter you can keep these, the better. I was just telling one of my new girls about Host to Post the other day. Like the thing with Host to Post is you are giving somebody else something to post for you. The person looking at that post knows that that is not, like they're on Jessica's page and they see Jessica post this post that is totally abnormal for Jessica. They're going to look at it for about 5 seconds, not even, maybe more like 1.5 seconds, because they think she got hacked or something. So you have a very short amount of time to grab their attention, like shorter than the normal amount of time to grab their attention. So it needs to be like a couple of sentences with an eye-catching image, and that's it. So for me, I just made a cute graphic on Over, and it says now hiring, or I have another one that says positions open, and it's just like, take cute pictures, post them on social media, earn commission and bonuses, grow your network. Like it's super simple, and it just like, it's got a super cute like Pinterest picture of a bunch of girls, and it's blowing the heck up right now. So just the simpler, the better.
You know, that's a good point that you just made, because one of the questions was, do you include a selfie with you in the business post? And you're not, you're using a different image, but you're doing that. Right.
They don't know me. They don't care what I look like.
Yeah. And you're saying that if it's just a standard post, it may look like this person's gotten hacked and may not look legitimate. And so you've added a graphic to go along with it. That's so true.
Yeah. And keeping it short because they're going to just skim it. They're not going to take time to read anything. So if you give them a paragraph to post, nobody's going to read it. Right.
Okay. So Nikki Moore, what was that again? Can you repeat it?
What I have on the graphic?
Yes.
Or the post-it. So what I have in the graphic is just like, it just says like now hiring or positions open. And then there's just like a little thing at the bottom that just says like take cute pictures, post on social media, grow your network, earn commissions and bonuses. It's like a cute little thing. And then I put my phone number on it just so that a million distributors can grab it and steal it. And actually I got texted from it today. So putting my phone number on it was worth it.
Oh yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Let's move forward so that we don't miss anything. Okay. And then we'll come back around if we have time. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Okay. So I want to know, I know Morgan Martin's on. She told me she's here. Hey girl, can you unmute yourself?
Hey, I'm here. Can you find me?
Yes, you're here. There you are, your beautiful face.
Hi.
Hello. Okay, so give us all you got, girl. What tips can you add to this amazing conversation we're having about Facebook?
So I actually work Instagram. Did you want me to give you Instagram tips?
Nope, we're going to come back to you then. Okay, so is Mira on by chance? Mira Denning, is she on? Okay. Who, I know Jade Hooper's on, and I have you on my list too. Jade, can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hey, girl. Had to bring you on here. Okay, Jade. All right. What can you add to this amazing conversation we're having tonight?
Like I've been doing the social media thing for like over 5 years now, and it's been like round and round and round and all sorts of different things. And I've tried all sorts of different things, but really like lately it just became really, really psychological because, I came up in my business always messaging. I'm not a Barbie. Like I don't look super great all the time. In fact, I much look like how I do right now. And there was a period of time where I really lost myself and I didn't really know like what I stood for, who I was. I had a lot of changes just with my body, my family, my life, all these things. And it really just came full circle to find me right back to just loving who I was, being confident with who I was, understanding and believing the reason why I built my business. And the biggest thing is when I was in like when I was like having the crappiest part, just like personally with my life and just all sorts of stuff going on, the people who I was enrolling sucked because my juju sucked. So the seeds that I was planting were of those of people who sucked, like for real though. Like it is what it is. So I came to this point where I was like, I don't want this. Like I came to a point where I wasn't willing to do whatever it took to build my business anymore. I wasn't willing to stay up late. My list of things that I was willing to do was smaller than the things that I was willing to do. And that's not how I got to where I was. I don't know why the heck I thought I would like maintain. By the grace of God, guys, I have moved up in rank. Let's just be for real. That's why I cried when I was number 4 because I was like, I don't know why this is happening to me. This is amazing. So anyways, what has really just gotten me we're on fire is just being myself, not trying to be someone I'm not. We can always compare ourselves to somebody who looks a certain way or whatever, trying to be a certain way, and really just diving into the basics of network marketing. Okay. Being willing to do whatever it took and just trying to get really good at my craft because I think it's so easy, you guys, for us to just, go through the motions. We post, we reach out, we're following up with people, but the more effort and the more time and the more studying and that you put into our craft, the better off you're going to be. You guys, just so you know, last night I did a photo mastery class with one of my amazing leaders on my team. It's on my YouTube right now and you guys can share it. And she just talked about taking a really good picture. And this was bomb for all of my new distributors who are doing the like dark in the corner with like really crazy background. So that's on my YouTube right now. You guys can watch it. It's amazing, the tips that she was giving and, talking about how to use apps and stuff like that. So just diving into really taking, time for really, really good pictures. But at the end of the day, I'm embracing my story, getting really good, you guys, at just telling my story and who I am and what I've been through. And for those of you, most of us are top leaders. I saw some people who are not sneaky, but it gets kind of hard to sit here and tell your story and end it with, but I've made several $1 million. Come join me. It's not realistic. So really diving in again to who am I? Trying to find the Jades of the world. Like we all have something we've been through, trying to like find the us's of the world and help them and use all of our experiences that we've learned through the ups and downs of life. Always reaching out. And like some of you guys are to blame. I went through a period of time where I was afraid to reach out to people. I was afraid to message because of things that people were saying about me. I reached a huge level of success and I was like on this like super crazy high. And then all of a sudden everybody had something to say about what I was doing. And that was actually something that I had to overcome. But it was so good because it gave me this extra level of strength. So again, getting back to reaching out. I don't do it to be spammy. I do it because I'm so convicted about what I do and believing that this could truly change every single person. And that's why I do it. So again, getting to the core and the psychology behind why I do what I do and being so excited to share that with people. So I got back to leading with the business, defaulting on the products. If someone doesn't want, I lead with the business. I think everybody in this world wants this business in their life, whether they're Oprah or, some homeless person on the street, like whatever, presenting that to them, defaulting on the products And if that's not the case either, then having them become a connector for me. So whether they're doing a host-to-post or I'm literally saying, well, who do you know that would be interested? I began getting willing to get on the phone with people. Guys, I've spent a lot of time studying like the top network marketers like of this industry. It has been like, it's just like, oh my God, I love it. I feel alive listening to them. So again, just, doing the tried and true things that works, being willing to do webinars, being willing to do calls, of course, the online wrap parties, stopping overthinking things. I mean, it's just really, really the basics. I'm always adding people. Make sure I don't get blocked. I've never gotten blocked. The last time I got blocked from messaging on Facebook was 2014, maybe. Like I haven't gotten blocked. So, I'm always kind of changing up what my messages are. My messages, my scripts are just me speaking into my phone the way I would actually talk to someone. It's just something that I save. So a script isn't bad. It's just like how I actually talk. I just speak it into my phone so it types it out the way that's really relatable. I use the people feature on Messenger. So instead of like going down my friends list and then clicking on someone's profile and clicking on messaging, I'll go to the people feature on Messenger. It's at the bottom. I think it's like the second one in, and that will actually bring up your whole entire like Facebook contacts. And I message, yes, Cheyenne, see, I message from there, and I can just like go to town messaging and I don't get blocked from there. Adding people. So I got blocked for a month for feeding my child on Facebook. So when I got blocked, they actually wiped out over half of my Facebook friends list. So I went from 5,000 friends to 1,800. So I had to kind of like start from scratch. So again, like what Rachel said, printing out my Facebook friends list and going through, and I unfriend people. I don't have time for like unfollowing. That's not helping me. So I'm unfriending the goofballs that are just sharing recipes and high schoolers fighting each other. Like they're not of benefit to me. They're not like, I can't help them. They're, they have bad habits and stuff like that. So I'm really like kind of picking and choosing. I went to church like a few weeks ago and they said that social media is like a really, really hard place that's super judgmental. And I was like, my God, that's my job. Like, this is so weird. But they said, if you're posting more than you're praying, there's something wrong. And I was like, well, how the hell does that make sense? Like, I'm posting like all day. And I'm like, all this is kind of making sense. So anyways, I started praying more than I post, which is a lot. And I'm telling you what, that has like just praying. It's a lot of praying. It's a lot, but it's putting the good juju out there, man. And I'm excited and I'm willing, and I've got amazing people that are coming into my business. Someone said something about something. Hold on, Jay, do you recommend reaching out and messaging people to become a distributor? I don't let anybody come to me, because why would I have so many people, like over my career, you guys, I've enrolled 1,000 distributors. I don't know how many customers, but I know for sure 1,000 distributors. And most of them I have reached out to first. Like, why would the girl who messaged me on a mom group, if she would not have messaged me, I would not be where I am right now. And she didn't last 2 weeks in the business. So like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like convicted about I have so much conviction and believe in what I do that I will and plus I want to be the first person to message you. Like, so if Kay has no idea what I'm doing, but I message her and just tell her she'd be good at this, she's going to love a compliment, because who knows the last time she was told that she'd be good at something. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was never told that I was good at something, so that would be really powerful and important. And then I got to make sure I follow up with her till I die, because I don't want to give up on her. And then like 6 months later, someone else comes in and they're like, well, someone told me I'd be good at this, but she disappeared. So I'll join you. So yeah, that people button, you guys, is absolutely amazing. Oh, and someone mentioned this, and I do that too. Of course, with the algorithm changes and also being blocked on, when you get blocked on Facebook, it like completely refreshes you and starts you from scratch. So one day I was getting 600 likes on my post, and then the next, when I got unblocked, I was getting 12. And it blows. It sucks so bad. That's why I reach out to people, because I'm not letting an algorithm rule my business. Okay. So, but I will go back into my memories and scroll back, like 2016 and like beyond. And I will reach out to the people who are liking my post, because a lot of my potentials were seeing my post then. And it is amazing. And it's fun to connect with people. And you guys, I'm sorry, but like old distributors want to do this. I'm telling you, old distributors want to do this. I've talked to so many stinking people who are like, all of my people went to Thrive and I tried it and I hate it. Like, I felt like I had to go because they told me I wouldn't have anybody to support me here. So I went with them and I hated it. I'm like, girl, you got to do this. I understand. And being very understanding. I have become very humble, popping out many children. Like, I'm eating my words a lot when it comes to having time and going through life and just always being very understanding when I'm talking to every single stinking person. I just keep saying, I totally understand how you feel. I totally get it. It helps a lot. Let's see. What kind of stuff are you sending the people who you haven't talked to in 2 years? Oh my God, I'm just straight up. Like, I just say, I'll just let them know that I think they'd be good at this business. I don't know if they've ever been in this business, but I'll just let them know. Hey, I just have to let you know, like, I think you're just the sweetest. I think you'd be so good at what I do. Have you thought about it? And I just automatically assume that they know what I'm talking about. And you guys, it still stands true to this day. I don't message necessarily to enroll people. When I message people and they don't know what the heck I'm talking about, even if, like, we're of course friends. I'm not messaging, like, I'm not typing Jessica in and then messaging the Jessicas that pop up. It makes them be curious and nosy by nature, and they go to my profile and they start looking at my posts, and now my posts are showing up in their Facebook because they looked at my profile to see what the heck I was talking about. So it like works really, really well. Do I use voice memo for that initial contact? I do. Sometimes I swear at people on accident because I don't ever like reread what I'm like saying, but all of my scripts or all the things that I say, I want to type them how I would actually talk. Like the scripts, a lot of the scripts that are shared, even like they've kind of changed over time, but like things that are shared with my team, they're things that I actually say to people. And then I just share what works. And then all of a sudden your team's huge and then everybody's using it. It kind of ruins it. But yeah, voice, I love the voice input. So I want to talk to you like I would talk to like my cousin. You know what I mean? It's like comfortable and like real and understanding. And then I love voice message too. Voice messages. I think I answered her. I don't know if I answered her.
So too, I'm going back through the questions super quickly. I think that some people are just confused about the people button. If you could just explain that just real quick before we move on to Instagram.
Okay, so go to your, it changed a little bit since they updated Messenger last time. If you go to, can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so if you go to people at the bottom of your phone, at the bottom of Messenger, so it says home, people, games, discover, go to people, and up at the top, it'll say all people. And when you click all people, it'll give you a list A through Z of all people. And some of them are even in your contacts.
Right.
And you can literally go through one by one and message people. And I've never gotten blocked. So when I was going double diamond on my 2.0, I used that and I was just letting people know that I was really excited and I was earning a huge bonus. I wanted to see if they would be willing to support me. And I got like 6 customers in one night just from like cranking out, I don't even think it was like 40 messages, but using that feature helps a lot. And making sure you, like when you are adding people on Facebook, you have to clear them out after a while. Because if you have like 40 people who don't add you, like sitting there, Facebook will like start pausing, like hitting the brakes a lot. So just making sure you're constantly clearing out the people who have not accepted your friend request.
Do you recommend uploading contacts?
No. Mine are already uploaded.
Right.
Oh, and you guys, by the way, if you go into your Connect app, okay, of course, the 1,000 distributors that I've enrolled, like, a quarter of them are actually still active. Use your Connect app and go through and spend one day every week and reach out to like 50 old distributors and like 50 old customers. Reach out to people and be like, hey, it's Jade. I know it's been such a long time that we've talked. I'm so sorry, but I'm reaching out for a reason. I just want you to know I've been thinking about you. And sometimes the timing's not right. I totally understand. I get that. I get the changes of life. But if there's ever been a better time to start this business, it's right now because of all these amazing changes. And I'm just so confident that, that you can, whatever, that like that whole thing. But anyways, I don't get Connect either, but it was like worth the like 3 days that I figured it out. And just because Connect has your all, like, well, it's supposed to have all your old loyal customers. It doesn't have all mine yet. They're working on it. Okay, they can only do one thing at a time, but it has for sure all of my old distributors. So going through and messaging all of my old distributors, and you guys, and again, just start with the business and default on the products. And the ones who do answer, if they're like, I don't want to be a distributor, then you like get them to buy collagen. And they are, and it's an amazing thing to do, to go back. Like they already joined before. You already know that they're interested. Like you already know that they did this one time. You know they're interested.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's move on to Instagram, you guys, because time is like shrinking on us. This is such good content. Jade, thank you so much. You're so amazing.
Welcome.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so all right, you guys, so excited to talk about Instagram. Let's do this, right? All right, so I'm gonna bring back Morgan Martin since I called on you from Facebook. Hey, girl.
Hey.
I'm getting used to your name. I'm like, it took me forever to get used to mine, and then I'm like, Morgan Martin. Oh my gosh.
Like a NASCAR driver.
I love it. I love it. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, girl, let's talk some Instagram. I know this is a hot topic. Facebook, we talked a lot about Facebook tonight. What can you add to this topic, and just, I don't know, whatever you feel like are your strengths on Instagram, and just what you can get, how you can get this conversation started tonight?
So I do really well with questions. So if y'all have any, feel free to drop those in the chat. But I think the biggest thing with Instagram is to realize that, for me at least, like, I don't post always the same stuff on Instagram that I do on Facebook. On Facebook, I'm a lot more like, I wouldn't say myself, because I'm myself on Instagram too, but I want my Instagram profile to be pretty, because that's what Instagram's about, is like, oh my gosh, your profile is so cute. Oh my gosh, you have the cute like presets and like all this stuff. And so, that's one thing that I try to do, is like have cute presets. You can buy those from people, but I just use VSCO or PicTapGo, and just make all your pictures bright and crisp, which we all know that. But like on Facebook, if I take like a really cool family picture, like we're like chilling on the couch and it's really grainy, I'll post that on Facebook or in my Insta story. I don't put that like on my actual Instagram itself, because I want that to be all bright, crisp, and clear and clean. I post more on Facebook than I do on Instagram. Instagram, I post 2, maybe 3 times a day, because I really don't get that much from posting. It's just something that I do because I feel like I should be posting, because people do see my posts. But in the few posts that I do, then I make sure that I'm putting a call to action. So I'll say text keto or comment below, or text opportunity or comment an emoji below. So that's what I do as far as posting on my like Instagram wall or page or whatever. And then I am private. I know a lot of people go back and forth between, should we be public, should we be private? It's up to you, but I'm personally private, because if I'm public, I don't get as many followers. I've changed it over and over again. I've gone to a business page, I've gone to regular, I've gone public or private, and I'll always go back to private, because people want to know who I am. It's just that mystery and that curiosity. So they always ask me like to be my friend. And then, so I'm following people through Captivate. If y'all don't know what that app is, people probably like, I don't know, you may have a leader or something that has like a Captivate video on how to use it, but it's super simple and it helps you to follow people, but you can actually choose who you follow. So, you can click based on somebody. I'm going to actually like turn the chat off for a second, just because I'm like so ADD, and I'll come back to it. But so if you use Captivate, you can pick the person and then follow people who like their posts. So then I can go and follow somebody who is similar to me. I know Claire was talking about that on Facebook, same thing on Instagram, and I use Captivate to do it. Insta stories are huge. I saw somebody had a question about Insta stories. I'll get back to that. But Insta stories are huge. That's where I post most of my stuff, and that's where I get most of my customers. and my distributors. And I never realized, like, I knew that I got a lot of people from those, but I never really realized how many people I got until Instagram blocked me from doing polls. And it was just whenever everybody's like accounts were getting their pictures taken off of them, basically. So that happened to me. And then I wasn't able to post polls for like however many weeks, or like a week. And I hardly signed any distributors or hardly had any new leads, because I get most of mine from my Instagram polls. And so that's one thing that I use to sign up a lot of customers. Like, I'll post a video of me making my coffee. I'll post before and after pictures. I post those pictures from the Unfold app that we're all making of our story. It was like a picture of somebody and then their story underneath. And I'll post those for potential distributors. Let me go to the chat because I saw people had questions. How many views do I get on my stories? I'll go look. I'm not sure. A preset is like a filter for your pictures, and like a lot of people, like bloggers, will sell their presets, but they're like $55 for a package of presets, which I just personally think that's ridiculous. I don't care if I was a millionaire, I probably wouldn't pay $55 for presets. So I just use Instagram, like VSCO, PicTapGo, whatever. Let me see. So I get like, this story has like 2,200 views. My newer ones have like 1,200. So that's how many views my Insta story is getting. I don't know if that's good or bad. Let me see. Do I do a lot of host to post? I don't do them on Instagram because I feel like that's really hard. But I did have one girl do it on Instagram and actually got a ton of people. So I'm going to probably try, because I'm going for presidential this month. So I'm going to try everything I can. I did have one girl post about hair, skin, and nails on Instagram, and I had like literally 18 people flocking in my request inbox to ask me about it. So, but I normally do host to post on Facebook because that's really all I know how to do on Facebook. I don't delete old Instagram pictures because people actually scroll down a lot and find like old Instagram pictures. So whenever I post my polls, somebody asks if people vote on accident, and I know I did a Zoom with Charity Holden one time, and she said that she on purpose puts them really big where people will accidentally vote on them, because then she can go message them and start a conversation. So you can do that. I personally do where I make it really small and angled to where there's no possible way they can hit it on accident. And so I really don't have that anymore. You just have to position it really well where it's not like right at the bottom and like all the way across. Whenever I go and follow people on Instagram, no one follows me back and I'm private, it's probably because this part of your Instagram doesn't look good, if I'm being honest. Because whenever somebody follows you, that's all that they can see if you're private. So you need to make sure that your profile picture is good and that your bio is good. And if your profile picture is dark, if you have something about it works in your bio, that's why you're not getting followers back. Claire, you can give me presets for $5. Okay, I'm going to message you. Yeah, search for free recipes. Yeah, they have VSCO recipes on Pinterest. One sec. Yeah, so I think that was it. Did you have any questions, or did you want me to like cover anything else? I don't really know what people don't know.
Yeah, let's do this. We're going to go through, because there's a lot of people, quite a few of us on here with some good Instagram tips. So we're going to go through and then come back through if we have time.
Okay, yay.
So thank you so much. All right, Cheyenne, I'm going to go to you next. You there?
Hi.
Hi, so excited to talk to you too. All right, so, oh my gosh, thanks for being on. Okay, so we talked just a little bit about, we've just started our Instagram chat, and then I just want to know from you what you feel like your strengths are on Instagram, and then how you can add value to this conversation and help us all, expand our knowledge of Instagram and growing our audience and enrollments and all that good stuff.
Okay, perfect. So when I'd never, up until I went Diamond and past that, I'd never really enrolled past 10 customers. And then March, I started doing host to post on Facebook. And that's where it blew up, because Rachel Jones did a training for her team because she's amazing. And so I started enrolling a lot with that. Well, then Host to Post, I was like, oh, they're not working anymore. You know, everybody goes through that phase. So I started doing Host to Post on Instagram. And so they're a little bit more complicated, but to me, any BB is BB. And especially when you're going for promotions, you're literally willing to do anything. So on WordSwag and Pixar, I made an Instagram story that people posted. If I can find it, it's just like on a background, and I put my before and afters on it. And then I said, like, who wants to lose? It's right here. It says, who wants to lose 15 pounds by summer? My friend Cheyenne's results are crazy. Swipe up for info. And it's just this. Obviously not by summer anymore. I have a new one, but I can't find it. So I just made this. And so I tell them to send me a screenshot of whoever messaged them and to send them my number. So then I was getting these random messages, but I knew it was for weight loss because my Host to Post are always weight loss. So if you want to do that, it's definitely like really awesome. And people that I noticed like didn't really care about their Instagram feed as much, like they're posting a picture of like a leaf or like a pair of shoes and they don't really care about their feed, I asked them to post it on their Instagram. And I get a lot of feedback from that. So if you know it's like a blogger that's obviously not going to post your Host to Post, then I normally send them like a story. Or if they're willing to do it on Facebook, my link is in my bio. Another thing that's completely changed the game, I've enrolled like 20 to 40 customers every month since I started like consistently posting on my story. So I guess I'm going to like really talk about my story. So I post every single night all in my story at once so that in the morning when everyone starts waking up, they're looking at all my stories together. I make sure that I use the app Unfold. If you don't have Unfold, you need it. It's literally life-changing. It makes everything look super classy and clean. I know Alyssa uses that a lot too, and Cassie and her team, because they're pretty much social media too. That's how I make all of my Instagram stories. So I post that. I make sure to always include like my own before and afters, and making sure like saying swipe up and type info or swipe up and type coffee. And so then I have all of those potentials because they have something to do. I feel like what Morgan said, like having a word of action is super important. Kind of like when we're having conversations, you have to ask questions in order to get response. Same thing on Instagram stories. Then another thing I've been doing, I'm literally doing everything because I'm super close to Prez. So I was messaging through my stories today. I would like pull up on my story and it shows you everyone that's viewed it. And I went through and messaged all of them and I just said, hey girl, like I'm not sure if you've seen my stories or not, if you've been interested in any new health and wellness regimens, if you've been on the lookout. I'm offering a huge discount. Kind of just made my cold message a little bit more like, hey, I know you've seen my story and I don't know if you'd be interested. That's been a game changer because you know they've seen your results and you know they've seen all of your stuff. So it's really easy because they're like, oh yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah, I'm interested, whatever. And then as far as my Instagram, same with like what Morgan was saying, I only post like super quality stuff on my Instagram, and I've gotten to where like I can literally just go put on a cute shirt and stand in front of a wall outside and have my roommate take a picture of me and edit it. And then I got presets, and that's been a game changer too. Mine was $14 on Etsy. You don't have to get all serious with it. But taking time to just put a filter on your pictures, whether it's PicTapGo or Etsy or whatever, that's super important because then like just you start getting more interaction and more engagement. So I think that's really it, but I don't think there was any questions either while I was doing this.
First night I've heard of presets. Is anyone else just like, what? I didn't even know this existed.
It's through the app called Lightroom.
Okay, because I've always filtered my pictures and I've always done that, and I have my favorite ones.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what? I didn't even know
it's just easy because they're like all the same, and they like a lot of bloggers started it, so it makes your profile look clean, but it is kind of extra.
it's making it consistent.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. So I love that you're shared, because one of the questions was, are Host to Post working on Instagram? And I love that you're using them on stories too. And I love that I think that what's important here is you're paying attention to whoever's feed this is. And I think that's the key, because I do a lot of Host to Post on Instagram too. And it is important because most people are gonna be like, and I'll ask them, do you prefer story or your feed? And they're like, they'll say story, most of the time, because they're like, yeah, I don't want your stuff on my feed. It's not going to benefit my business. So I totally get that. And that's where it has to be different than Facebook. Facebook's just a different world when it comes to Host to Post for sure. Anything else you want to add to that you feel like is super important? I know that you talked about the cold message and reaching out and just not being afraid of like, look, I'm going for a promotion. I think that's important here too. You're not afraid to ask.
Today, like I literally got out of bed to get on the Zoom because I've been over here messaging all day. So I scrolled all the way down because now Instagram tells you when you unsend messages, which is awful. But at the same time, I don't really care because are they going to sit there and be like, oh, you unsent that? Well, what I've been saying to that, if y'all have been running into that, is I just say, oh, I accidentally sent like that little heart that you click. Sometimes it accidentally sends it. I say that. If they say anything about it, I don't know if you'll have it. Yes, it does, Rachel. It does tell you now. So I've been unsending messages because I don't care. And sending and resending, I've been changing up my message like every other day so that it's different because that helps a lot finding one that's really, really good. And then I went back today and a lot of people that I had conversations with that we never finished, I'll go back and be like, hey, like, I know you were super interested in weight loss. We have this new program because typically I get to the price, they wouldn't respond and all of that because of the 90-day challenge. Well, I'm not like necessarily advertising this whole one-time no commitment kind of thing, but I've been following up saying like, hey, I know we talked a long time ago about you wanting weight loss products. I'm not sure if you may be still interested, but if it was the commitment holding you back, this is definitely the time to do it and talking about that. And I got 4 customers from just doing that and following up with people I didn't talk to for like a year.
I love that. One of the questions came in, do you message everyone who views everything on your stories regardless of the picture?
Yes. So I don't personally message for distributors because I don't feel like the retention rate is that good because they're not coming to you like out of desperation for income, but I do message for customers. So if I go through there and I like look at all of the viewers, I'll message them no matter what's on my story. I just say like, I don't know if you've been looking for a new health and wellness regimen, but I don't know if you've seen my stories, but if you're looking for a new health and wellness regimen, I'd love to talk to you because my second message after that is a list of numbers, like 1, hair growth, 2, weight loss, 3, this, 4, that, so that they have that, initiative to say like a number. I'm giving them something to say back.
And then how does it work on stories if there's no comments to message? Do you just wait for the DMs?
How does it work on stories?
Probably for host to post.
Oh, if nobody swipes up, then nobody swipes up. But that's just like, if that's what you're meaning. I just have them like send my phone number to them and send me a screenshot of who slid up so that I can go follow them on Instagram so that it's like basically adding a friend on Facebook, if that helps.
Yes, I think that's the directive that they were looking for, just how to get the contact of the person who did swipe up and is interested.
Yeah, just having them send a screenshot. I mean, some people don't, but I've gotten a ton of them. Like it's a lot of extra work. But if you're getting some customers from it, it's worth it. A lot of them will forget to send screenshots. And plus, it's only on there for 24 hours. So you have to hope that there's enough people going to be seeing it.
So what Carly said, I don't understand the swipe up thing. It's swipe up to message. So if you just like swipe up it, if you're viewing someone's story and you swipe up on it, that you can send a direct message.
When I do host posts on Instagram, they just do it in the stories and then put all those posts in a collection. And so easy to follow up and check in. Oh, never thought about doing that. But yeah, I get their phone, like they'll send them my phone number and then I'll message them on Instagram also. So either way, I'm going to be able to contact them.
Oh, Lauren, I love what Lauren said. So they just do it in the stories and they put all those posts in the collection. Oh, so wait, what? Am I understanding that correctly?
You can make story collections on Instagram. I've never done it because I've kind of forgot about that, but I'm trying to figure out how I did that.
I totally meant the feed, not the stories. I'm dumb. Okay. You're not dumb. I totally meant the feed. Okay. I got it. Yeah, because you can save it to your, yeah, this is because it's Instagram stories. You can link your website and swipe up. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's is Courtney on Lavy?
Oh, Courtney Labby, yes.
Labby, sorry.
Hi.
Yay!
I was
Okay.
waiting to see like which Courtney.
I know. I'm going through my list. I'm just making sure we like hit on everybody. I love this.
Okay.
So Cheyenne, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Love it. I just want to get through quickly. All right. So Courtney, hey. All right. So,
Hello.
all right. Give us the good stuff, girl. What you got?
So I usually use both. I use Facebook and Instagram, but I use more Instagram. But I just do a lot of the same things Shay does. I know like last month when I was like taking my 2.0 to Emerald, I think I signed like maybe 40 loyal customers, but I was literally blowing up my story all day long. And I'm a to-do list person, so I like give myself to-do lists. Like even if it's just like petty, like little stuff like post on my story 10 plus times, or like message 100 people, and then I put like 25, like little like blocks so that I can like, cause I like to mark stuff off my to-do list. So like I literally have a checklist of like what I'm going to do on Instagram every day. But something that I really like with call to actions, and I don't remember if it was Alyssa maybe, probably, since she's usually who teaches us everything about Instagram, but I still use like collections. So like I have like collections for potential loyal customers, potential distributors, and then like engagement. So if I see someone that I think would be like really good at the business or something, I'll add them to my like engagement, so that I'm like making sure I'm going and like commenting and stuff. And then I have like the collection for like if someone messages me about the products or somebody I've talked to that was interested in stuff, I'll add them to my potential loyal customers just to make sure I'm still going in and like checking in with them and stuff, even if it's just like Christmas, Thanksgiving, or just like commenting all their posts. And you can go like, you can save them to collection. You can just go to saved, and then it has like all the like saved deals over here. So then I'll just click on like potential loyal customers, or like PLCs or PDTs or engagement. I think I have engagement. And then you can just like that's my engagement. So people that I think would like be good at the business, or someone that I want them to make sure they're seeing my stuff, I just make sure I'm interacting with them a lot. And so I'll just click on my collections tab, and it brings up everyone that's in there. So I'll just have to click on their picture, and it goes to their profile, and I'll like go comment or like the last few pictures of their stuff, just so they can kind of like see me on their timeline. And then something else I started doing last month was like in the evening, which I know you always want like your Instagram to look clean, and like I, do really good pictures and stuff. But something else I was doing is like in the evenings around like 6 or 7 o'clock, I would post a before and after picture on my page, on my regular page. And then I would usually get a lot of hits off of that. And then usually 24 hours after I posted it, I would archive it so that I didn't lose the engagement on it. And so that people, they're commenting and they're liking it and stuff. So when I archive it, it doesn't completely take away the engagement and stuff. And so every time I post it, or post it before and after and stuff, like Instagram is saying like I got interaction before, instead of just like deleting it, I just archive it so it doesn't show up on my page, but like the logarithms and stuff are still there. Because sometimes people will like, if it goes on their timeline, like they'll see it on there, like maybe if they didn't see my stories, like they'll see it on their timeline and they're like, oh, which I don't leave them on my page because I want it to be so like clean all the time. But I've been doing that. And then a lot of call to actions like on my stories. Sometimes if I post like something I want people to go view on my page, I'll just screenshot my Instagram, and then hang on if it'll pull it up. And then I'll like mark it out, and I'm like, I'll just do an arrow and be like, check out my latest post if you're interested in earning an extra income, or check out my latest post if you're interested in losing weight by drinking coffee, or something like that. And you can just like, you just mark it out and then put an arrow so that they'll like go to your page to look at it. And so that kind of gives them something to like go look at, and that'll help the interaction and all of that stuff too. But literally posting every day and then blowing up my stories. Like I think I post on my stories like maybe 30, 40 times a day. And I was signing like so many loyal customers, and I usually stick to like 3 or 4 products. Like I don't post about every product we have. Like I post like the things that I get the most sales with. So I post a lot about the coffee, the greens, the cleanse, and the wraps. Like that's mainly the 4 things that I post about on my stories. Because I feel like if it's kind of like too much stuff, then people kind of get overwhelmed with all the products that we have. And so I kind of just start with stuff that people want to see and like see the results and everything with too.
I think we have people, their mind is blown right now.
That's just some of the stuff that I do and that works for me. And I'm a very like, now that I'm a mom, like used to I was a college student and now I'm a mom. So like I have to be very like more about my time. And like yesterday we had our ambassador Zoom, and someone was like, started like talking about treating your business like you are a CEO, so like I've been trying really hard to put things in my planner and to really schedule out my time, and so that I can spend more quality time with Riker. And two, if you have kids or you have a family, like I get more interaction on my posts that have Ryan and Riker in them than I do ones of just me. So like I post a lot about Riker, because even if people are swiping up on your stories, like I get people asking me a lot about where I buy Riker's clothes, or how do I fix his hair, or like stuff like that. So like even if they're swapping up, it has nothing to do about the business, I'll save them to my engagement posts so that I make sure I'm interacting with them because they're liking something that I'm like posting about, and they're obviously a mom. So just be like, like I always make sure like on Instagram on my page, like used to like when we did like the 3-3 rule, like you'd post, you know, your personal like or your like business post, and then you'd have like your family or like you're going out with friends or going to dinner and stuff, and then you'd have like before and after pictures and stuff like that. So I make sure that I add more stuff to my stories than just It Works stuff. Like I make sure I'm adding in stuff about my family, stuff about Riker, so like what we're doing throughout the day, because just like your page, if you're only posting products and you're only like blowing it up with like It Works stuff, people are going to stop looking at it because they already know what's there. And so if you kind of keep it interesting and keep people coming to it, you're going to get way more views on it. Jay, yes, there was not stories back then.
Can you talk for a second just about, specifically about content? And I know you were kind of hitting on it a little bit, but just whether you're brand new in this business or you've been in the business for a while, talk a little bit about what content you really feel like if everyone watching right now is on your team and you want them to know what to do, like what to do and how to do it well, what would you want them to know?
So I even tell my team, like when people come to my Instagram, like I want them to know, like what 4 things do you want people to know when they come to your page? Like what are 4 things that you're like you want people to know like when they see it? So I always tell people, you know, I want people to know that I'm a mom. I want people to know that I'm a wife. I want people to know that I'm a Christian, and I want people to know that I sell It Works and I have, you know, I do direct sales. And so like I always say like make sure like those 4 things like you're constantly circulating like in your page, because people want to get to know you. And something too, like I very rarely like copy anybody else's post. And if I do use it, I kind of use it as a guide and then try to tweak it to my own words, or like adjust it to my story and stuff. But Claire like did a training for us one day, and she's talking about, you know, you have to tell your story, because if you just copy and paste someone else's post, which is going to mess up algorithms anyways, because Facebook and Instagram knows like when the same like wording and stuff is being used. But if you use your own words, like people want to join you. Like if I was to copy Morgan's post or Cheyenne's post, like everything word for word, and then I got a distributor from it, they should obviously go join their team instead of my team, because what caught their attention was their words, like, and not my own words. So I try really hard to like tell my story and like what I'm passionate about, you know, and like talk about Ryan and talk about Riker and talk about being a mom. And I try to like make sure my content is about me and not just copy and paste everybody else's stories, because you want to keep your viewers coming back. Just like with Facebook and stuff, like content is just as crucial on Instagram as it is on Facebook. Even though your picture is going to be the first thing that they see, you want people coming back to read it, because they want to know like what, okay, so your picture is going to like catch their attention, but like your story is going to tell about that picture. You know, so you want to talk about, you know, what you're doing to work your business, like how you're able to work your business with being a mom or being, you know, a wife and stuff. And I think too, like people sometimes say, oh, well, you're an ambassador, you did this and you did that. That's why people want to join your team. I honestly get more potentials and more like people messaging me and stuff when I post the things that I posted when I first started. When I'm talking about filling up my gas tank, when I'm talking about getting my nails done, when I'm talking about just having a me day or going shopping for a Riker or having a girls' day, when I talk about those little things, I get way more potentials from that than I do talking about earning $30,000 plus a month and earning $250,000 in bonuses, because the normal person can't wrap their mind around that. And so they're like, oh, that sounds scamish. But if you talk about filling up your gas tank and going out to dinner with your husband or buying groceries, like that's the thing that people want to be able to do without having to check their bank account. So whenever you're posting about that stuff, people are coming back because they're like, oh, well, like, I would like to be able to do that. So don't like focus too much on making it all seem too good to be true, because if you're real and you tell your story and like what this business is going to do for you, that's what gets me the most like interaction and like the most potentials, is because they're able to relate to that.
Okay, I'm back. My computer was dying.
Oh, you're fine.
My husband's grabbing
And
me.
I do message on Instagram. I don't on Facebook, because Facebook, I don't know why. I have a fear of messaging on Facebook. I don't know why, but I do message on Instagram. I did not message up until after I went ambassador. I was like terrified of it, but then I just like had to get over myself and just start doing it. But I do message anyone. Like I message like all of my followers that I follow back. And because if like they've been there, like we're commenting and stuff. And then I've like I would follow people every single day, like 100 to 200 people every single day, but my system's a little bit different now. I go on mass following sprees like every 2 to 3 days, and then I take 1 day a week to unfollow people that don't follow me back. And I think I started out with like maybe 1,500 followers, and now I have over 15,000. But I do that, and then when I'm going on a following spree, I make sure my Instagram's on private. But when I'm not going on a following spree, I leave it on public, because there are going to be people that follow you that just like your content or like your pictures and stuff. And also your highlight reel, like with the pictures and stuff on the highlights, if you make sure those look really good and people watch those, like when your stuff's public, you'll get people coming off of your highlights and stuff because your stuff's not private. So I usually have I have a tab that has Riker. I have a tab that's like it has like pictures of me and Ryan talking about like our story. My city has one talking about the opportunity. It's called Success. My Tribe, which is like all of our friends with It Works and like pictures and stuff. And then Lifestyle, which is like before and afters and like the product posts. And then Words. And then it has like a bunch of inspirational quotes and all that stuff. And even if any of those highlights like are intriguing people, like they're gonna keep watching them. And so I usually like sometimes that's like every other day, I think I'll move it to public just so people like will come like be interacting and stuff. Something else we do, I keep thinking of new stuff we do, but we also have like people on our team that have like groups, and we will boost each other's posts. So like you'll be like posted or whatever, and we'll go in and comment on the post or like the post and stuff so that it boosts the algorithms. Like Shay is like insane at like commenting on everybody's posts and boosting everybody's algorithms, and Cassie's team does that a lot too. But we'll just be you can do it on Facebook or Instagram and create a group, and then just be like posted, and then people will go comment and like on your post, so that the interactions and stuff are boosting and more people are viewing your stuff. I do that on Instagram.
I love that. Engagement groups are so crucial.
Yes, it helps a ton, and you don't realize like really how much it helps until like you start seeing like your numbers and stuff going up a lot. Yeah, it definitely helps your algorithms. What's a quick way to see people that you follow but they do not follow you back? If we're on Instagram, I go to my followers, and then it tells me if I'm following them back. So if I'm following them, I can see their page and stuff before, so I don't message like a distributor or anything like that. So I'll go to their page and look at it and stuff before I message them. But if you just go to people that follow you, you'll have like, if you're following them back, it'll have following on the tab. And I usually, like when I'm messaging, I just go to the search engines and just type in like A or B, like go through all the A's, go through all the B's, go through all the C's. And then like as I add new followers, like when I've gotten through all the Z's, I just start back over, because as you've gotten through your deal and you've added new people and new people have followed you, when you start back at A, like there's usually 10 or 12 people there that like you haven't messaged yet that are back into your A's. And then it's just kind of going in a circle.
This is so good. Can you repeat what you just said about wait, what do? You go where?
Which part?
The A's, the B's, the C's.
Oh, so like when I go to my followers, I just go to the little search engine above it and just type in A, and it brings up all my followers that I follow, like would they have A in their name, and I just go through all the A's. And then when I'm done, because like you'll scroll down till you're like done with A's, and then I'll delete that and I'll type in B, and it brings up all the B's, and then I literally just go through till I get to Z. And it makes it easier too, because like when you lose your spot, like when you're messaging and you lose your spot, it's so annoying. So like scrolling through A's or B's or C's is so much easier than 15,000 followers. And so then I get to Z, and then I start all back over, and usually like all of your newer ones are at the top. So it like helps. There's always like new people on there.
I think of the whole Zoom, that just helped, like that minute right there. Oh my God.
I'm so glad it helped, because I'm very like, I'm not that organized. Kristen is like my organized person, so she helps me stay organized, but I definitely try to do like the most I can in the less time. Like I want to like work, smarter instead of harder. So that's what I do with that.
Yeah, because like that's all we have time.
Like, I think it took me like 3 or 4 times to scroll through all of my followers to get back to where I left off. So I was like, there's got to be an easier solution. And then I was like, oh, there's a search engine. Like that'll help.
Okay, so once you've gone through them, so you're messaging them?
Mm-hmm.
What are you saying?
And like people talk about cold messaging all the time, and I don't know why it's such a like weird thing to people, because like when people are, I always think of it as a blitz. If you are blitzing people and you're like out and about and you're handing someone a blitz card, they did not ask you about the business. Like most of the time they did not ask you before you handed them a blitz card or asked them if they'd be interested. So I look at it as when you're messaging someone, it's not necessarily a cold message. Like you're just blitzing them online. So it's like an online blitz, because you don't know every single person you come into contact with when you hand them that blitz card. And so there's nothing different about cold messaging as it is blitzing somebody in person that didn't ask you for your info, for the info. So I just messaged everybody, because if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. So I get literally all of like a ton of half of my customers come from messaging people.
So Lauren just asked, I've never cold messaged anyone on Instagram and I've signed everyone from there. What the heck do you send a stranger that has never voted on your polls or commented on your post?
Hey girl, how are you? I follow you on here, and I was wondering if you'd be interested in being a 90-day product tester for me using one or more of our products. And would you be interested, or can I send you some more info? And usually they say, what are your products? And then I usually give them like 4 or 5 different options. Like I have spots open for this, this, and this, and this. What sounds like, what are you most interested in? And then they'll say weight loss or detox or growing my hair out. And then I say, okay, awesome. Can I get your number? I'll send you all the info. I get their, and I usually always get their number. I don't have like full blown conversations on Instagram because it kind of makes the follow up and stuff easier. But literally it's just, I'm looking for 90-day product testers. Would you be interested? And you can just like tweak it to make it your own, but usually it's just like short and sweet. And if I message, I don't message for distributors very often, but if I do decide to, it's just like, hey girl, I followed you on here for a while and I think you'd be so awesome at what I do. And usually they say, well, what do you do? Like, it's just, that doesn't have to be anything complicated. It just, how would you blitz someone in person if you thought, they'd be interested in it?
Lauren, I'm sweating.
I'm sweating.
Read it. That's like when I need to laugh. I love it. All right. So let me ask, I know that is Kristen Kirkendall on here?
Is she back on yet? I know her little one she just texted me a little bit ago. Her youngest one got sick throwing up, but I think she was trying to get her back to sleep.
Oh, no. That's the worst. Okay.
But I don't know if she's on yet. Shay, do you know if she's on?
So good.
I don't see her.
Is Courtney Boron?
No, she just texted me and said she had to go do something also.
And Brittany Cromwell, are you on?
She is.
Yeah. Brittany, can you unmute?
Oh my gosh, you're putting me on the spot. I didn't realize you were going to call on me.
Why not?
Why not? Let's do it.
Why not? You're here. Let's do it. I have to say, Courtney, thank you so much. You're so refreshing, and that was so much fun. I'm gonna inbox you now. I have to know you better. Like, you're so great.
Anytime. You're welcome. I hope I helped you guys.
You helped so much. I mean, this is just amazing. Are you kidding? I love it. Brittany, you're incredible, and you're on fire right now. And let's just chat for a second. What can you add to this? How can you add value?
Honestly, I feel like everybody just kind of said everything that I was going to say and what I do, but I do have some tips that I kind of do a little bit differently. One thing that I noticed that really helps me and has benefited me so much was doing highlights. So I'm a huge Instagram story person. I'm always like, I tell my team to vlog about your day. So that way it's so much easier. When you're using the products, just go ahead and video it. When you're at the gas station filling your tank, video it. So highlights has allowed me to make my story. And then again, I used all 100 slides that you could put there. Mine is super long. But I believe that when people go to your page and they're like captivated by your photos, they kind of want to know more about you if they have that connection with you. So I find that my story is actually what people are clicking on most. And because I have, I think it's a couple slides in, it says swipe up for more info and say more info or whatever it is, that I do find, even though I did my story like months ago, people are still clicking on it and they're messaging me because of it. So I'm super creative and I go like extra on things. And I think that's the best thing about highlights is you can decorate it however you want. You can add GIFs on top of it. Or not GIFs. What's the word? Is it GIFs? Yeah. And you can draw on it and add super, pretty colors and stuff like that. I always try to use one color, and that's pink. But because of that, like I was able to actually screen record stuff of me and my family, like when we bought our first home, and things of like about that we're doing that involve the business, and I incorporated that into my story. So I have us walking into our home for the first time because of It Works, and I just make it a lot more interesting than just slideshows. So that's something that I do, is I video a lot of things on my story, and then I'll go back and I'll go ahead and screen record it and add it to my story. And then every little thing I'm doing throughout the day, I'm adding to it, but it's not highlights that say, oh, this is about the business. It's more about like full-time family. And I don't say, hey, I'm, here home at home because of It Works, but it's more of like us just doing super really cool things that people are going to be like, oh, well, I want to do that. And then it's like, I'm kind of getting questions. Well, how are you a full-time family? How are you doing those things? Because of how I labeled my highlights. So I have a lot of really cool things on here. And one thing that I did on here, and about this, Kay, is like the shorts and how I like couldn't fit into my shorts. So I started this thing with my team. It's called the Pants Challenge. And this is something that got me like over 10 Fit 30s in like 2 weeks. And I usually don't sell that large of a pack or products whatsoever. But I used highlights and just Instagram stories to kind of track my progress daily. And now my team is doing this and our volume is skyrocketing. But I have lost like over 30 pounds since having my daughter. So what I did was I took my shorts and I showed everybody on a Facebook Live how they didn't fit. And I basically did like an update every couple days about how the shorts fit until they fit. So I did that whole entire segment on my highlights as well of me and like my journey. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm drinking my skinny coffee and I'm drinking, the cleanse, but I'm not saying what kind of products they are. So I'm getting a lot of questions about curiosity, like what cleanse, what coffee, because I kind of like, I don't blast out there that I do It Works. And I'm sure a lot of you guys don't do that as well. It just creates that curiosity. So one thing that I've been doing is throughout that whole highlight where I'm showing myself losing the weight and updates on my shorts and stuff, I'm saying things like swipe up for more info and type this. And I keep calling it the pack. And I'm not calling it the Fit 30 anymore because people can just go ahead to Google and like research that and like see what the Fit 30 is. So I keep getting messages of people swiping up saying, what's the pack? What's the pack? What's the pack? So now my whole team is doing this and we're signing Fit 30s and Fit 15s left and right. And we have this whole entire event where I got my whole entire team now to do the Pants Challenge. And we're all losing weight and documenting it on our Instagram stories and our highlight. So I'm kind of teaching them the same thing that I did. And, but yeah, my point of that was highlights is awesome because when I do my Instagram stories, then I'm saying things like, you guys got to go check out my story on my Instagram. If you haven't seen my highlight about my story, you need to go see it right now because I'm looking for 5 more people who want to accomplish the same thing. So then it's like, oh, well, what's that story? And they're going to my Instagram and clicking on these highlights to see everything I've documented already. And then I kind of do what Cheyenne does. So like, I do a lot of polls, but I found that like the more that people answer your polls, the more that they're going to continue to see your stories. So I'm not just doing like health and wellness, our products and business. I'm doing other things. Like the other day I was walking into Publix and I was Instagram storying and I did a random poll. Like it just comes to me. I'm like, does anybody else avoid parallel parking like I do? Yes or no? And it got like 300 yeses and so much interaction on it that I'm going and I'm swiping up and now I'm messaging all those people building relationships. So I'm kind of like a build relationship person. And then I'll go back after I archive in like a week and I'll write it on my calendar and I'll go back in a week and then I'll go ahead and message all those people about the products or the business or whatever. And I kind of do the same thing. I liked how someone on here said, I think it was Jade, she said scripts aren't bad. Like scripts are okay if it's how you would say it. Yeah. So I kind of do that. And I have one script that I kind of send after I go back and it's, hey girl, I've been watching your profile for a little bit. and I love blank, and I'll go ahead and personalize it from their profile. So I'll go ahead and say, I love your family photos about how you guys are always traveling, or I love the photos of you and your pit bull or golden doodle, whatever. And I just think you'd be so good at what I do. I'm sure you get asked all the time, but is there any way you could use an extra income right now or not? Because I'm in love with your profile. So I found that like complimenting them and personalizing it, actually I get so much response back, especially when I've messaged them about something beforehand. And I think that's important because you know, I'm totally cool with warm messaging, but I feel like I just get a better response when I do that. And another thing about Instagram, you guys, is like if you don't have good photos, I feel like nobody cares. And it's a little different than Facebook, because Instagram is like you want to see the photo, you're captivated by the photo, and then you're going to read what's like beneath it. So I'm huge with lighting. Like if you go to my Instagram, like I have a theme, everything's white, everything's really bright, and that's really important. But I love doing like different angles with my photos. So I think selfies are really important, but more of like have somebody else take your photo, you know, like alternate between your kids. So like it's not just selfie, 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 selfie. It's more of just me and my life. And like my Instagram is the catalog of my life. But you can't even tell I do it works. You can't even tell like I'm selling products or anything, because it's really just me. And that's what I'm putting on there is like me, the best version of me, and my photos I feel like is what really brings people into like wanting to know more about me. So I feel like if you have really good photos on Instagram, you're just going to do better. But that's really just what I do. One thing that I wanted to add to is when I do reach out to people on Instagram, what I like to do is I like to scroll back to about a month ago. And I scroll back to some photos that I posted a month ago, and I'll go ahead and message those people because I know that they've been watching me longer. And I usually unfollow people before I do this. So I unfollow everyone who's not following me. So that way I know, okay, I'm going to message you and you're at least still following me because it shows it there. So I'll go ahead and message them, and I get a better response that way too because they've been watching me for like a while. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like everyone else went over everything. Do you have anything that you want me to cover, Kay? Because I know you follow me and everything I do.
I do, and I just had the opportunity to spend some really amazing time with you at our leadership retreat, and that was so special. And I witnessed this, you guys. She's not just, you can see it on her highlight, but she's literally with her phone everywhere. And I learned so much of just her sharing the story of just being there, and that was just so special too. And of course, the Pants Challenge, which I know people are like, I'm doing this. I love it. As far as just your content goes, can you just talk a little bit about content? Because I feel like that's one of the biggest questions I get as leader is just, what do I write about? Like, what do I post? And we all have a different story. And I'd love for you just to share your tip that you share with your team on just developing your own content as far as like your actual post go, and not just story, but your post.
Yeah. So I think for the longest time, I used to do what any new distributor does and like copy, paste, and then try to make it your own. But it didn't feel right to me after a while. So now what I teach my team is just blog about your day. And as long as you're using the products and you're purchasing things and you're getting paid, that's stuff that you can incorporate it into what you're doing every day. So I tell my team, tell a story about your kids, tell people what you did, tell about your vacations, about your goals. And more importantly, like share a message. Like, I don't know how many of you guys watched the AMAs the other night, but Cardi B shared a message. Well, she said something, and she had the opportunity to share a message to like go after your dreams no matter what, but she was just talking about herself. And I felt like she could have talked about herself, but then kind of shared a message with people as well. And like kind of an example is today I made this post right here of me on the beach, you guys. And this is like so not me to wear a two-piece. I haven't worn a two-piece forever after having, 2 kids, but I finally did. And I was talking about being confident, how I was so confident. But I feel like when you share a message, and like how just ending it with, I said, After this, I've learned to stop hiding, do something about your problem, and wear what you want along your journey. Enjoy that journey. If anyone has something to say, looks or stares at you, let them keep looking at something beautiful. Like, that is sharing a message to somebody, inspiring them and helping them feel more confident. So I feel like that's huge. So I kind of go back and forth between sharing a message and more blogging about my day. Like, this is a photo right here, and I'm just talking about how we went to the airport and we looked at planes go off and stuff like that. And I'm sharing about my day. And what I tell my team is, make your profile 75% you and 75% about what you're doing, because that's what people, give a crap about. And then in the middle or in the bottom, 25% of it is about the business, without saying, hey, I do what works or anything like that. So, like, for example, this right here is just us talking about our day, how we're going to the airplane overlook, and we're watching, the planes take off in Charlotte. At the bottom, it's like, and I'm so happy that I can have moments like this and not have to worry about going to a job or worrying about a schedule. Being here with my kids as they grow up is the best thing in the world. So I'm leaving like these little breadcrumbs for people. It's not always like in your face, in your face, in your face. And I feel like that's why we repel so many people, is because we're giving that feeling like, hey, I need you. I need you. I'm posting because I need distributors. So if you're more just sharing and adding those little breadcrumbs in there, that way, like whenever once a week on your Instagram story or on your Facebook or wherever, when you're like, hey, I'm looking for, 10 people who are looking to make extra income, or like we learned this weekend, Kay, like I'm looking for 10 people who want to change their lives and make $2,000 a month. I can talk about that in a second. But when you say those things, that's when people are going to latch on. So that's kind of like what I'm teaching my team, is like, just 75% you, make it interesting, be the best you possible. And then, once in a while, make that post that's going to like bring them in. But I'm always doing Instagram polls. Always doing Instagram polls. That's the main way I get my people. But other than that, like, it's through messaging, and people do still come to me. But if you want me to touch on that really fast, I think that was amazing that we learned.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So who was it that taught us? Aida, I think.
Probably.
So she was saying, we're always posting about side hustle. We're always saying who wants to make an extra income on the side, or, $200 a month. And she was saying, like, why are you posting that? Like, you're basically going to attract somebody who just wants to make an extra $200 a month, who just wants to do a side hustle. And I was like, oh my gosh. That's so true. So lately I've just been posting, like, I'm looking for serious people who want to make, serious money, who are sick and tired of working at their job and want to leave. And like, these people are coming out saying, I want to be at home with my kids. Like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, instead of, hey, I need an extra income around my full-time job. So like, I'm literally asking for what I want. And now I feel like the serious people are coming out. Like, I've had serious people in the past, but most people say, I would love an extra income. It's like, no, I want the people that want this. So that's something huge, and it's really working now. And I think everyone should start doing it.
Well, it's true, because we have to be mindful about the words that we're wrapping around our business.
Yeah.
And when we're putting out there that we just want, basically we're advertising, hey, I just want somebody who wants to work this part-time. We have to be mindful. Are we promoting, this is the joke that I make, are we promoting that we work this business on the toilet? Or do we promote this business, like, because that's what I hear from a lot of moms. Well, you just throw it in there, throughout the day as you're doing your business. And I'm like, no, that's not what this is about. This business doesn't work that way. And so what I learned in posting that has helped me so much is I am talking to my dream client every single time I make a post. I don't care who else reads it, because that post is not for them. The post is for my dream client. And whoever your dream client is for you, and this is like the challenge that I would give all of you, because Brittany and I just went through this together at our leadership retreat, is literally outline who that person is on paper. And as I was even doing my journal prompting, I realized, like, I have to be very specific about this person and who this person is, because this is who I want to work with on a consistent basis. This is who I'm attracting into my business. And it has been astronomical, the shift that's happened as far as the work ethic that's coming into our team, because we're focused on who our dream client is, and not just focused on bringing in anybody and then trying to drag them across the finish line. Like, we have solid workers. And I've even seen a shift in our leadership. I've seen a shift in just who we're bringing on board. Even people that had just been sitting for a while are catching the fire of this. And I'm seeing such a massive transition, and it's just so refreshing, you guys. And so really, when you think about what you're posting, think about that dream client, and you're only talking to them, and everyone else it doesn't matter. And that takes away any kind of fear or frustration or worry. But it's such a big deal. And Brittany, I know it's made such a, massive impact on you and your team.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And like the whole thing about like when we get negative feedback or anybody that has anything to say about what we post, this was the main thing I took away from the event was like, oh, well, I wasn't talking to you. And I know you kind of just said that, but you didn't really mention like the negative stuff that we get and all like the haters and stuff. And I just think that was just a major eye opener, was like, oh, wow, I wasn't talking to you. Like you said, we're looking for our dream client. So
yeah, you guys, when you've got those naysayers, kind of poking at you or anybody on your team, just remind your team, guess what? I wasn't talking to you. I'm talking to my dream client, and that person is coming to me and coming to my business. It takes the pressure off, 100%. That's so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, Brittany, any last like one tip before we go?
Does anyone have any questions? Maybe that'd be better. I feel like honestly everyone was just so amazing tonight. My gosh.
You're on a path to Prez right now. So
yes. This month.
So huge. And this has been a theme this entire Zoom actually. Many of the people that spoke tonight are in the same place as you right now. And so what are you doing to make sure that happens?
To make sure we promote?
Yeah. I mean, like, are you just going above and beyond in your messaging? Are you making sure you message every person that sees your story? Like, what are some of your tips?
I'm a crazy lunatic. That's my tip. Like when you start feeling crazy, you're doing it right. Like when you get a group chat together of everybody, I feel like what I'm doing, okay, for real though, what I'm doing is I have my leaders together that I am promoting with. Mm-hmm. And like everyone knows what they need and where. We have our charts, we update it daily. If someone like places a side order, my leaders know like, hey, let me know in the group chat. So everyone's kind of communicating that way. But for the most part, you guys, I'm just teaching them what I'm doing. Like, and I think like for the longest time, I expected everyone to just watch my training videos. Like I spent so much time and effort doing training videos on my YouTube and oh my gosh. But I feel like some people just have to be shown how to do it, and taking that extra like 10 minutes to voice text them, hey, this is what you want to change on your profile and I want you to do this, and kind of direct them. It wasn't until I started watching like other top leaders, before we had Kay on our team, I had no idea what the heck, we were doing in the beginning. But when I started watching other leaders on YouTube, they were like, you need to do this, 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 and this. And that's when it kind of like, I was like, oh, okay, this is what I got to do. And I feel like now that I'm focusing on my team more and directing them, it's just falling together. And last month, I was pushing for Prez and it didn't happen. And I actually went live and talked about like, on my social media, hey, I didn't go Prez, you guys, because all my thousands of followers were rooting me on, and I didn't go. And I learned a lot of things that you can't just force it. You can't force it. I wasn't ready. My team wasn't ready. So really what I'm doing is I'm getting everyone together and showing them what Brittany does best. And, and giving them creative ideas specifically based on their life and their situation. And they're just getting the hang of it. And power hours are huge. But really, it's just staying communicated, and that's it, and pushing hard. I mean, we're stacking. We got people running for double who are trying to get boxed for triple on top. It's just the momentum is insane. But shouting people out on my team has been major too, and shouting them out is just getting them more excited and keeping the fire alive. Like, I don't even know what a slow month is now. You know what I mean? I've been through so many slow months that I told myself this month, like this year, there's going to be no slow months. Like that doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? No month is different than the other. And we're just living by that, and we're running and we're on fire, and just pumping everybody up, leading from the front. And that's really it. There's no secrets, just staying connected, group chats, and showing people how I do things, and they're reinventing themselves.
Yeah, I know. I just said, don't ever assume your team knows. I've learned that too. You just show them. share the love, show them, because there's going to be someone in there that just catches fire, if not a whole group of people that catches fire and goes big with it. So Brittany, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.
This was super long, you guys, but obviously nobody cared, and it was so good. So I love it. Love you guys so much. Thanks for being on tonight.